All right. Thanks for listening to this episode of Twos in the Face Wrestling podcast. On today's episode, it's Chris. It's weird. I feel like we're doing another show preview. It almost feels like April 2019 when I literally couldn't buy a free weekend because there were so many gosh darn wrestling shows going on.
Well, that is because 75% of this Zoom call here is fully vaccinated, I believe.
I know I am. I don't know about our two friends.
I got my second shot tomorrow.
See, I'm so behind. I'm like, can I get a little diabetes or something?
Oh man. Yeah, we're previewing a show preview. We recently did we kind of talked about a little bit about a show that just aired. It was a freelance wrestling show. It aired on April 9th, but now we have a May 1st show coming up for Zelo Pro in Milwaukee. Seeing Zelo Pro in Milwaukee kind of feels like just a normal thing now because it which is cool. I think your guys are kind of making it your place up there, in a sense, besides like Joe's on Weed Street. But yeah, I'm excited for the show. And I went into this podcast with like, oh, cool, there's 3 cool matches here. And then Matt's just like, hold on a second. And now I've soiled myself putting together the rest of the agenda. But yeah, welcome Matt McCollin and D-Ray of Zelo Pro. How you guys doing?
What's up, guys? Thanks for having us.
Nice to see you guys again.
Yeah.
D-Ray, it feels good. Like... It really does. It feels great to see you guys.
I agree. D-Ray, I feel like, is on this podcast a lot. He's basically like an unofficial third member, so that's normal. But yeah, Matt, seeing your face.
I dig that Zelo Pro frame. What would you call it?
So it's wooden, actually. It's all made out of wood. It's credit to D-Ray. He got this for me for my birthday a couple years ago, and I was able to finally hang it up here in my basement. And it's pretty sick. It's all made out of wood, hand carved, and the Zelo logo is painted on beautiful. There and engraved, which is pretty sweet. If you guys are watching this.
See, that's another reason why, if you're listening to this via podcast, go over to YouTube, Two Heels in the Face. Subscribe, check out our episodes. Charlie's doing an okay job, I guess. But actually, he's getting the episodes up there.
The latest episode is on YouTube before it's even on twoheelsintheface.com.
Oh, look at that!
That was a watch along with Matt Nix. I prioritized that one,
and that's because he's not waiting on me, and I'm just dragging my feet and producing the actual podcast. Like he has the video, so he throws it up faster than I can produce a podcast.
Hey, man. No shame. Everyone, you have a newborn. How is your newborn? Is she chilling?
She's not considered newborn. She's already, 9 months old.
Man, I don't know how it works.
Send her off to college, man. She's good.
She can sit. She's starting to crawl. I can put her down for a bit and not have to worry too much. But the one that's giving me issues is it's my 8-year-old Yorkie. She's pretty sick. Not sure what's going on with her. So a lot of vet visits in the past week.
Okay.
But hopefully the new meds will work, and whatever's wrong with her will get her back up to speed and barking at the mailman.
Yeah. Yeah. Or me when I come to the front door. Yeah. Checking out family. Matt, how's your family? How's Hazel doing?
She's doing phenomenal. So she got this Vespa scooter for Christmas that has been running nonstop in the household since that time. So when the battery dies, she goes batshit crazy. But it's been good. She's doing great. Everybody is healthy and happy. Everyone's back to school full time here in Kansas City. So we are very blessed and grateful for all of that.
Cool. You're supposed to ride those in the street, right? Not in the house? Or
yes, in theory you are. Okay. So my hardwood floors are taking a toll, but hey, that perspective is everything. So she can do whatever she wants.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
That's great. All right. Yeah, let's get into the show preview.
I do want to ask about D-Ray's dog. Like, he has his own Instagram account.
Oh yeah, that's true. That counts as family as well. Shame on me.
Stitch has his own account there. Stitch.lives. He's great. He's going to be 1 in June. So I don't know if I'm going to throw him a birthday party or not, because I'm a crazy dog dad now.
Dog dad.
And yeah, he's basically my whole day, taking care of him, making sure that he's enjoying himself,
Speaking of Hazel, she had to make a cameo. Another benefit of tuning into the YouTube.
Yeah. Turn into the YouTube channel. Please subscribe. You could be like the subscriber number 59 or 60, I think, which seems like a cool number. And yeah, you can see Hazel attempting to feed her father. And it looks like, or bite the microphone.
Both.
Yes. Yes. Okay. Why are we here? WrestleFest, right?
WrestleFest. What a name.
What a name. Yeah, the name. Where did the name come from? I mean, I've heard it before, but I want to ask you guys the inspiration behind.
Yeah. So really, the show name has been used before by Pro Wrestling Blitz, who used to run out of Joliet.
That's where it was. I knew it was familiar.
So we had a good relationship with them, and that's really what it actually used to be an old WWF arcade game back in the day. So not original by any means, but we are really looking to return in a big way, and kind of have that big festival carnival feel to it. And WrestleFest really lent itself to us with that branding and that ability to do so. So it came naturally. We were able to do a lot of our branding around it, and we're going to play that up certainly in a big way at the show itself. And it's going to become an event that we do every single year and kind of continue to theme ourselves around this springtime and really kick things off. And for us, we're returning for the first time in a little while. I think it could not be more perfect time to try to throw a big party for our return. And that's kind of the way that it all came about.
Cool. Yeah. The poster, I think, resonates that, right? It almost feels like Mardi Gras a little bit. And,
definitely very, very Mardi Gras theme, a lot of similar branding and fireworks and all those things. So at some really my long-term goal, especially in Milwaukee, because there's a little ode to Summerfest as well, because Milwaukee is the home of Summerfest, and this is normally the time of year in June when Summerfest happens. So at some point, my goal would be to actually grow this into a legitimate wrestling festival that can happen in Milwaukee in a much bigger capacity, but we got to start somewhere.
Cool. Yeah, no, for sure. Any momentum, I think, is good right now. Yeah, and this is happening Saturday, May 1st, Turner Hall Ballroom, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Limited capacity is available. The ticket link will be on TuesdayFace.com plus the episode description, or you can go to ZeloPro.com, and it's streaming on Fight, right? Did I miss anything there?
Correct. You got it.
Cool. All right. Chris, did you have a question?
I was going to, before going into the show and anything like that, for the past, several shows, you had Jimmy D and Val on the mic. Are they still gonna be the commentators for the show, or do we hear new voices? D-Ray might pipe in there.
D-Ray has been known to jump on the commentary booth a couple of times.
Right.
Yeah, I spot it. I jump in every time somebody's needed there. Every once in a while. In the original beginning of the first couple of shows, I was on mic, but then I was just like, nah, I'm not gonna do this anymore.
and D-Ray does so much in terms of the actual production of the events that jumping on the microphone takes him away from being the production extraordinaire that he is. As much as we enjoy it, appreciate it. So it will be a little bit of both. Jimmy D will be your core commentator for this event. Val Capone will not be there. She's stationed out on the West Coast right now, and so we have a fill-in Ryan Gibbons, who has been on the show for us before. He's a radio producer in Milwaukee for Kiss FM, so a little bit of a local celebrity in a way, but he's jumping in on color commentary for us for this event.
I got it, because I know Val did a lot of work over this WrestleMania weekend, and she was getting a lot of traction, a couple new fans coming through for Val, and she's a hometown girl, so.
She's been killing it. We can't wait. She will be back for us. We can't wait for that to happen. Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. Cool. I have to ask, just because I guess it's obligatory, but logistics, how's the show? How has it been planning for the show? You got everything settled? Limited seating, I guess, what's that going to look? What can people expect, et cetera, just to get that out of the way? I know we all hate talking about it, but it's a real thing.
No, it's 100% a real thing. And for us, it's always been top of mind and priority. And, luckily for us, we were able to get those couple of shows off in the fall during the pandemic and see what it was like to try to run limited capacity, socially distant shows. And so we're really utilizing that same template that we did in October for the Show Must Go On that we did at Turner Hall Ballroom. Right. The folks at Turner Hall and Pabst Theater Group have been phenomenal partners for us. And it truly has been a true partnership this entire time. So we're not only adhering to the local ordinances in Milwaukee were actually still being more strict than what they are. I believe they're able to do over 50% capacity. We're still limiting it to under 20%, which puts us at about 200 fans total, socially distanced in pods of 2, 4, or 6. So it's all general admission, kind of first come, first serve. But if you were at the show in October, it'll feel and look very similar. If you watched it, it'll look and appear to be very similar to that. So,
Okay.
masks are still going to be required. We haven't gotten to I think at some point they're really hoping that they can do rapid testing at the door that would then mitigate some of the need for some of these social distancing and things like that. That might come in the fall without me getting too far ahead of myself.
Okay.
But just know that a lot of the similar things that we had in the past will be in place, and all of those precautions and restrictions are available on the Pabst Theater website when you're buying tickets.
Cool.
Yeah,
once again, ticket link description to the show. Like if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, you can look at the description, or at twoheelsintheface.com. Let's get into the card now, the stuff that we want to talk about, the fun stuff. There is some new names on here. I don't know. I'm going to look to you guys for a little bit of description of these certain wrestlers. I can't, there's some, I just wrote down their name. I haven't even seen an image of them or what they look like or what to expect. But Brooke Valentine, I know, has wrestled before with you guys, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And then she's wrestling Charley Cruel, which I'm biased, the name. I mean, I probably spell it a little differently. I don't know. But who is Charley Cruel, and what can we expect from her?
Yeah, Charley Cruel's been around for a little while, relatively new.
Okay.
She's from the Indiana area, South Indiana area. And her and Brooke Valentine have worked together previously many, many years ago. So this is not a first time ever matchup. However, this will be the first time that they are working each other at Zelo Pro. First time that I believe both of them are working in Milwaukee, and especially at Turner Hall. So a lot of fans who are not familiar with Brooke, who if you've not seen her before, she was all over the place this past WrestleMania weekend, working at some of the GCW shows and really doing well to get herself out there. And like you mentioned, she had competed for us back in the fall against Laynie for the women's title here. Being able to now kind of step up and put those skills to test against Charley Cruel, who will be a newcomer for us as well. And overarching the theme as Zelo Pro returns is really ramping up the women's division, because as much as it's easy to say that a lot of talent that has worked for us and worked on the indies is now kind of moving on to the next level, there's still such a plethora of talent available and out there, and a lot that people have not seen or maybe haven't had the opportunity to purview and get on the platform like Zelo Pro. So we're excited to be able to ramp that up and introduce some new faces to our audience and to the audience globally via Fight TV. So this will be one of those opportunities with Charley Cruel, who many people might not be familiar with. She's got a very cool persona, kind of a dark current Alexa Bliss type of vibe going on. So go ahead and look her up if you haven't had a chance to do so. And then if you're not familiar with Brooke Valentine either, you can see her match against Laynie on our YouTube channel to get familiar with that too. So it should be a fun one to watch.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, I'll say it every time I'm with you guys. I think the promise was at least 2 women's matches, right?
That's correct.
You have 3 on here, so I mean, you're overdoing it, not in a bad way.
Correct. Yeah. Chris, to your point, we do have 4 women's matches on this card.
Okay.
And so that's truly the goal now moving forward. It's beyond 2. Truly, at least half the card will likely be women's matches moving forward.
Oh, right. Yeah. There's, I didn't, I think Chris is subtly jabbing at my agenda. Chris, I get it. I hear you loud and clear, Chris. I just deleted the last image, so that's all you had to say.
No, I mean, I did notice that there were 4 women's matches, and even though, and I'm not going to get too ahead of myself here, we'll definitely talk about each match, but the fact that there's a men's title or a Zelo Pro title being introduced, right? That does not, take away from the spotlight that you guys are giving women's wrestling, which is something that, makes you stand out. And having that women's title for, I guess Laynie at this point has had it for over a year.
She has had it for over 610 days at this time of this recording. Come May 1st, I believe it'll be closer to 630 days.
Oh my!
You just had that off the top of your dome, huh? You just were you looking at a calendar? Or
We've been talking about it quite a bit. It's a big part of this story coming up as
okay.
I'm sure we'll get around to talking about her title match at WrestleFest, but it's a big deal. I mean, she's the longest reigning Zelo Pro Women's Champion, and you're talking about a title that has been held by Kylie Rae and Tessa Blanchard and Britt Baker. So to be the longest reigning of all of them, asterisk pandemic, is still very, very much something that should be respected. And her right now, Laynie's whole campaign is her trek to 1,000 days. She wants to get to 1,000 days as champion. So Jordynne Grace might be standing in her way, and maybe a couple others between now and then, but that's her goal, and it's very possible it could happen.
Interesting. Okay, cool. And next is Sierra, who I think was recently making a comeback versus Heather Reckless. Once again, know a little bit about Sierra. I've seen her wrestle a couple times. I don't know who Heather Reckless is at all. Anyone want to? Yeah, do you have a scouting report you can drop on me regards to her? I'm interested just because of the name.
Deere, you want to take that one?
What I'll tell you right now about Heather Reckless is she you could see her at CSW. She's worked with them for a little bit while. I also know she is from the Wisconsin area, so this is like kind of like a homecoming for her as well.
Okay.
And she's just someone that we saw we saw talent in, and we wanted to go ahead and bring her in and give her a chance. And she had a little bit of a different look to her as well, so we thought that would play into it.
Yeah, she's got a great look. She's got a great work ethic, and working her, pairing her with Sierra, who is a Milwaukee native and someone who's as bad as they come. And we saw her debut for Zelo back in the fall as well. Just adds a whole nother dynamic. And to the point we were talking about in terms of just kind of expanding our women's division, it's going to certainly be ripe for contention of who's going to be the next to step up and really vie for that women's championship over the course of time. And you'll get a lot of new faces that you're going to see, but truly it's anyone's ball game at this point with so much opportunity out there, but also this pool of talent that's going to be getting these opportunities now that we're back on a regular schedule. So to be able to see these women in singles competition and really get to kind of show off what they have I've never been more excited for what we have coming up.
Yeah, it's again, like as Chris and I, as the fans, and you guys are fans as well, but you have a little bit different role obviously here, but as the fans, we see these different places finding new people, growing their own, so to speak. So it's cool to see where you guys are picking, pulling from, recruiting from, scouting from, and cool to see these new faces show up. So I think the theme of, and like you said, there's still a lot out there. It's just that people don't know. That was kind of the theme of the last show that we watched, is that there's secret stashes everywhere.
Right.
So I guess you guys are kind of unveiling your own in the form of bolstering the women's division, I think. And then also there's some other people on here. Yeah, Storm Grayson, who recently just main evented a show. I've never seen him do that, so congrats to him. Is wrestling Jacob Dean, who's also young and up and coming, although he looks like a full-grown man. This should be a good show. Just like I said, like Chris, Storm being a main eventer. What do you think about this matchup?
Yeah, like Storm being part of this match against Jacob Deans, right? Like I was looking at it and I was analyzing it. I'm like, Storm Grayson being part of the battalion, right? He's looked as like the young guy because he's he's paired up with some vets. But then Jacob Deans is also considered the young guy, but leading kind of like the freelance academy, making that uprising and standing out, getting bulkier by the minute. So I think this is a match where they're going to go, head to head, and they're going to try to prove that they're not green guys anymore, right? They're not the newbies. So I think that this match can be a potential show stealer. That's just my initial thought when I was looking at these two names going against each other.
I completely agree. And this is truly to your point about the battalion. We haven't seen Storm work singles action at Zelo for almost over a year now at this point, because most of his matches have either been in a tag capacity with Jason Hades or with Brubaker or with Shotzi over the last year and a half, really. So, what we get to see a little bit of what he's learned as being part of that entourage and kind of working with those veterans, so to speak. But also he's now kind of shown his own, and we've seen him in a main event capacity recently. And so you know that he's going to take this opportunity seriously, and you know that Jacob is going to as well, because they both have something to prove, and there are spots to vie for. And so, you know, being able to see that and kind of have that one-upsmanship, is the Blackheart Battalion going to play a factor in the match? Who knows? You never know when it comes to those guys. But I think it's one that we'll certainly be impressed by.
Right. Speaking of Blackheart Battalion, you guys were going to do Brubaker. Was it Brubaker versus Ricochet? Was that a match that was
yeah,
set up, but
we talked about that a little. There was a little throwback that we had posted recently. That was back in, I believe, October of 2017. It was set up via a promo with Tessa and Brubaker, and it was one that was supposed to happen in January. And of course, you know, if you know history, right around that time, Ricochet got signed a month later to NXT, so the match never came to fruition. But that certainly was one we were excited to see, and it would have been a huge opportunity for Brubaker to kind of test his chops against somebody of the caliber of Ricochet at the time. So we'll just have to either wait to see it at the next level, or we can dream about it.
Yeah. He's always going after people. He's got like some kind of little brother king syndrome or something. He's always going after other kings, like kings destroying kings. There's always some kind of, it's like Game of Thrones shit.
That's true. That's so true. I never made that, you know, the long-term parallel, but it does exist. Right.
Yeah, man. He's got to lay off other people's kingdoms. We also got Colt Cabana's on the poster. I don't know what he's doing. Is he just hanging out, or
hey, man, your guess is as good as ours. We're certainly excited. I mean, if you followed Zelo Pro from the beginning, Colt was a very formative part of our early years. He worked a lot of matches for us, and obviously he has seen great success recently in AEW. And so this is really his return to the Indies. And so in our conversations, he was very jacked up about just getting back into Milwaukee and on the indie scene and back to Zelo. And so we don't know what capacity he's coming in for. I think that's kind of his creative genius, is he wants to just see what happens, kind of go with what he feels. The man's an artist. So what we know is that he's going to be there in some capacity, whether that's on commentary, as a guest referee, whether he's going to wrestle. I don't know. But what you can know is that if you're there on May 1st, or you're watching on May 1st, you'll see Colt Cabana in some capacity, and I'm sure it's going to be awesome no matter what.
Yeah, Colt's very talented. So any of those positions that he puts himself in, he's just going to knock it out of the park, and you're going to be entertained. That's all it is.
He could do it all. I don't know.
He produce.
He could.
Agent. You know, anything like that.
The match that sticks out. The match that sticks out from Zelo Pro is the one against Hornswoggle.
Oh yeah.
Like I just remember them like going like backstage and coming with their different outfits,
changed each other's gear. Yeah.
That was more like a variety show. That was like
it may have been one of them.
But
it may have been one of the more entertaining matches that we've ever had. I know for them it was the first time they had ever wrestled each other, and it was a dream match for both of them. And so when they came to us asking for that match, and of course you're not going to say no to Hornswoggle and Colt Cabana. So what they were able to put together was incredibly entertaining. But I would agree that probably stands out in terms of Colt Cabana's repertoire for our past, and those are all you can relive those on our YouTube channel anytime.
Yeah. That's gonna have a little small segment when the Zelo Pro autobiography comes out in like 15 years. That's Colt Cabana has been around for so goddamn long. Like someone tweeted, no, that's not an old man joke or anything, but like someone tweeted, oh god, he's got something on his website about like all the places he's been or something, and it's supposedly like this long ass timeline with like a shit ton of logos of like feds that don't even exist anymore and like stuff like that. And it's crazy to think that was a first timer. We witnessed like a first timer for him.
Right. It is pretty. I mean, the man has withstood the test of time, and he still doesn't look a day older than he was 10 years ago. And he could still. We've seen him now in AEW. He's able to still go as well as ever in the ring. So, that's what I think. What's the exciting part about WrestleFest is that I think there's that part of wrestling that you don't want to know everything. You want that shock and awe value a little bit. So I personally am excited to see what he decides to bring to the table on May 1st.
So outside of all of those great things that Colt Cabana knows how to do, one of them is merch.
Oh yeah.
So this brings me to the question of how is the merch tables? Are there going to be merch tables? How is that being addressed?
Chris is like, where do I get a mask and how much is it going to cost?
I mean, Colt does not have a mask, or else that would already been in here. But
you never know.
Yeah, so
Maybe a boom boom elbow pad.
elbow pad. We will have merch tables. Meet and greets will happen. We're going to leave it up to the comfortability of the talent, whether they're participating in them or not. When we did our show back in October, we did have them. Just about all of the talent participated. Colt himself is fully vaccinated, and which I think he's expressed that he's fully excited about it. That this is his first event post full vaccination. So we know that he'll be out there slinging merch as well as ever. So, those meet and greets will be available, and we're kind of leaving it up to talent, whether, level of comfortability. Masks are required for everyone coming, no matter what. We'll enforce some social distancing, but when it comes to, meet and greets with the talent, I think those will maybe seem a little bit more familiar to a pre-pandemic era than they had in the past.
Cool. Nice. That's a good question, Chris.
Thank you there, Charlie.
Yeah, anytime I can give you a compliment. Bang Bros versus Country Air. Once again, I mean, I know what the Bang Bros are. Some people might not, but you can listen to an episode we had with them if you want to get to know them more. They talk about like what they listen to, training, kind of future plans, things like that. Kind of fleshing out the August Matthews character and gimmick and like kind of what he's a little bit about, because they can bring it in the ring but a little bit more soft spoken. But once again, like really happy to see them on the show and on Zelo consistently. And the Country Air, I don't know, I think it was pitched as a rematch. Sounds familiar. But did we see this matchup before? I need jog my memory here. I have COVID brain.
This is a rematch from our last show in Milwaukee, and the Bang Bros ended up defeating Country Air with double 450s for the pin.
That's right. Pretty sweet.
Okay. Oh, so I remember watching. I wasn't there for that. Surprise. But I remember watching the show on YouTube, and I think, and that's an iconic image too. That's going to be in the autobiography as well.
Also, yeah. So that match really kind of impressed a lot of people, as Country Air had debuted for us for the first time. They're Wisconsin natives, and they have been around the block. I believe they're ICW tag team champions right now. So they're very popular in the Wisconsin area. But they were new for us for the first time, and obviously fans of Zelo know the Bang Bros over the last course of the year. But this was a first time ever matchup, and based on that, the crowd was super into it. Both tag teams came and wanted a rematch, because I think they really have a lot more left to show for it. And we've had 7 months since that last encounter and since our last event. So being able to put on that caliber of a match in Turner Hall Ballroom with, to do it again, absolutely. Why not?
Yeah, I think that's cool. And I mean, sometimes it needs things need a rematch. So I think it's cool that you guys kind of took a step back and realized that, instead of just like, new is great. Like, being different is great, but also sometimes things need more time to manifest, and that might just include a rematch. So
absolutely, I think they have a lot more left to put out there on the table. So I think that's exactly what we're going to see on May 1st.
Cool. D-Rick, can I get I know Big John Crowley has wrestled for you, I believe, at your last Milwaukee show, but can we get a match preview of Big John Crowley versus Joey Jett Avalon? I think that's right.
Joey went to that match. Who did he wrestle at the last show?
He went through a gauntlet.
Because I remember him being like a big man. Like he made a name for himself. Dude. Yeah.
I believe he beat Angel Escalara.
Okay.
Prince Coda. Okay. What's his name? Darius Luttrell. The big man gave him trouble because he has that height on him. He's 6'8".
Big man. Yeah. One man dynasty.
Like I tweeted earlier this week, I was just like, he's got 14 inches on me. The dude is huge.
Dude, he stood up to Marche Rocket and said did not back down. I don't think Darius Luttrell is afraid of anyone.
And Big John Crowley, he's just a big Wisconsin bred boy. He's just all muscle. And Joey the Jet Avalon, he's a big Wisconsin fed boy as well. But he could fly. He does high flying moves, which I think granted him the nickname the Jet. So like this guy could do high flying like aerial moves. He's very technical. He's sound, and he's a big hoss as well.
Wow.
Yeah, he's got like that 80s throwback look, like that 80s rocker persona. But otherwise, like, you're gonna see a fantastic match between these two big men, and
it's gonna be a big fight.
Yeah, I think they're gonna leave it all out there in the ring.
The first impression I got of Chris made me delete the image, so I can't look at him now. But the first impression I got from him in terms of look-wise, kind of hair and glasses, was, do you remember a wrestler named The Disciple from the NWO?
Ah, yes.
Just kind of look-wise, I'm not, but yeah, it's a little bit more. That guy, The Disciple, was a little more, bit more biker. Joey Jett Avalon seems more rock star, but kind of that same. The hair, maybe the hair was kind of making that correlation.
Who was that? Wasn't that I can't remember who The Disciple was, but
dude, I don't know. I mean, he was just like, there was 1,700 people in the NWO, and he was like 1,701, and he was just like around, just like most of that faction. Like, I don't even know what he was.
He was
doing.
like one of Hulk Hogan's guys. Who was he? Oh man, this is gonna kill me now.
I just did a quick Google search, and it comes up as that was Brutus the Beefcake.
Yes, that's who it was.
Was it really?
Wait, I did not know that.
Yes,
this is the same person.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Holy shit! Wow.
Yeah,
I don't think that's true.
Look, right?
Someone edited that Wikipedia page.
That's what I said. It's one of Hogan's guys. Brutus is always Hogan's guys.
Yeah, those guys are big.
There's a little history lesson for you.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, no, this should be fun. I mean, let's see if the Jett steals home, right? Sandlot reference. Right. So that should be fun. And then we're getting into the meaty stuff right here. So this is the stuff that is going to make you the listener stop and take a breath for a second. You guys ready for these ones coming up?
Let's do it.
Triple threat #1 contenders match for the women's title. This is the shit right here that, like, okay, this is the shit. Hyan.
This is why you pay for Fight TV if you're not attending the show.
Yes, right here, all them. I mean, this is a packed card, 9 matches, right? This is a lot of
So
matches
far
for you guys, right? In terms of like volume.
In terms of like what we used to do, yeah. But to the point of really wanting to make WrestleFest the event that it's meant to be, we want to be able to give the action that the fans have been missing out on live for quite some time.
Yeah. These were this one and then like these 3, or when like Matt told me these, I was like, okay, hold on a second, let me like take off my sweatshirt really quick. I'm sweating. So #1 contender match for the women's championship: Hyan, Blair Onyx, Missa Kate. So I don't think there's any questioning that these 3 should be right here, and on the cusp of wrestling either Laynie or Jordynne Grace. So yeah, I mean, I think this is like your very strong next level, and someone's looking to break through that glass ceiling. Correct?
Absolutely. We've seen a lot of big things both from Blair Onyx and Missa Kate over the course of their time here at Zelo Pro, and even most recently with the tag match that they had last September with Laynie and Missa against Blair Onyx and Elena Black. And so I think there's certainly some unfinished business there between both of them and Laynie. So you have that on the potential horizon if either one of them go on. And then you have Hyan, who is debuting for us for the first time. She was scheduled to come in back in October, but had to pull out because she had a tryout at the Performance Center. So, big things on the horizon for her as well. But, we're certainly, she's as high caliber as they come in. And I know that a match between her and Laynie or Jordynne would be next level either way. So yes, these are 3 of the top female competitors in the game right now, and would make the most sense truly to be potential contenders, to be potential next champions. So to see the 3 of them kind of fight it out to see who deserves that spot is going to be wild.
Yeah. This match makes like complete sense to me, in my opinion, in terms of like, this is exactly who should be wrestling for the next shot. So yeah, credit to the bookers.
Absolutely.
You guys did a great job there. But so if one of those people wins, then they have to face the winner of Jordynne Grace, Laynie Luck. So Jordynne Grace, I mean, if you don't know her, then you probably should watch more in independent wrestling and wrestling in general. But I mean, this is a tough task for Laynie Luck. I think she's up for it, but she's gonna have to shake off a little bit of the rust here and make sure she's in prime form. What do you guys think?
Definitely. I think the last time they're in the ring together was January 2019.
Yep, that's right.
Milwaukee. It was a 4-way. It was Elena, her debut for us, Laynie, Shotzi, and Jordynne came away with the win. So we're gonna see these two could do one-on-one together. Laynie, obviously needs to retain her belt to get to 1,000 days as champ. So, she's going to be laying everything on the line, doing her new lucha moves and just doing what she can to get the big thick mama pump down for the 1, 2, 3.
It's probably going to be one of her, no discredit to anyone that Laynie has wrestled defending the title against, but it's probably her biggest defense to date.
Yeah.
In that 600+ day run. She's had some really solid matches, but you talk about a competitor like Jordynne Grace, she's as tough as they come, and it's going to be a different style than Laynie is probably used to when it comes to her defenses. So, I don't know what the outcome is going to look like of this one. It's very possible that Jordynne is going to be our fifth title holder. It's very possible that Laynie continues on her trek to make it to 600 days. And I think that's what makes it a great matchup, is that you have two very viable competitors who are really still looking to cement themselves as top female competitors on the independent scene and in wrestling in general. So the fact that they're going to go head to head here is going to be awesome.
Yeah.
And if Laynie pulls this off against Jordynne Grace, definitely gets her up a level that I think just because of Jordynne Grace's, stardom,
right?
Maybe, Laynie Luck getting that win will elevate her even more.
Yeah, I agree.
Into a different level that she can be in her journey of getting to that 1,000 days of being the champion for Zelo. So I'm excited for that one. It's gonna be, so that makes me also question, and I'm gonna kind of like make a sideline here, and we have to mention Chico. Is Chico reffing at all?
Where's Chico on this card? I don't see Chico, and I'm upset. Just gotta say that.
Chico could be in this ladder match.
Is Chico in the ladder match?
Chico does have a ladder match history. He does have one
on the
belt. I don't know. He was a surprise entrant in one before.
To answer your question, Chico will be an official at WrestleFest. And will he officiate this match potentially? It's very viable. He really has done a fantastic job as an official for us, during the pandemic, and certainly looking to continue. You may see Chico enter the ring at some point for us in the next year or so, kind of depending on how things go. But the momentum is on his side, that's for sure. It's a good sidebar.
I just had to question: is Chico the ref making an appearance?
Hashtag Viva la Chico.
Hashtag Viva la Chico.
Just make it a stipulation. Yeah, make him the ref of the ladder match, and just be like, anyone in the ring right now is able to win this match, and just like throw that stipulation and just see if he picks up on it, and he'll probably be in the ring. And it's like, oh, okay, maybe I can sneak up there. But the ladder match, tell me, I'm salivating. Tell me,
6-person ladder match.
Up with this?
So I have it here with me.
Ooh, another reason to watch on YouTube.
If you guys are watching on the YouTube channel, I have the Zelo Pro Championship. This is something that we have been dying to get going and get crowned. I know you guys have had the ability to see this in person. We're super excited about it. And, the pandemic kind of threw things for a loop as we were really going on this path back in the fall to kind of lead to whoever our competitors are going to be and going through some qualifying matches. But we're at a point where we just can't wait any longer. Like we are bursting to get this thing into contention and to get it competed for and as part of our regular programming. And we alluded to it a little bit earlier, is that the women's championship has been our only championship for the last 3 years. And that's been intentional. That title has been our main title, and really the top of the women's division. And this is not a men's title. I will preface that. So yes, it's going to be competed against primarily by our male talent at this show, which I'll get into in a second in terms of who those competitors are. But it's viable to be competed by for anybody. And so, but we also want to make sure that we're maintaining the integrity of our women's championship, because that's still our main event. That's still our division that we're putting a lot of focus and time and energy into. But this adds a little bit more flavor to the ball game a little bit. So it'll be interesting, but we're excited for it. It will be contended for in a ladder match at WrestleFest. I couldn't think of a better venue to hold a ladder match in than Turner Hall Ballroom. And that within itself adds a whole nother level of intensity, because ladder matches don't necessarily require a ton of wrestling skill or require you to be the biggest or the strongest or the best. It's about opportunity. It's about timing, and it's about toughness, truly, amongst all else. But being able to combine all those things and be the one who climbs up to that ladder and grabs it first, it really could be just about anybody.
That's true. Yeah. That's why I think Chico, there's hope. There's hope. Are we gonna
logistically? I'm just wondering how you're gonna hang this belt, but I'll let you.
Great question. You will see it on May 1st. Luckily, the wonderful operations folks at the Turner Hall Ballroom have a plan in place there.
So you just call me like, I want to have a ladder match. This 10-pound belt. Can it support? Can you support it above the ring? And they'll just figure it out. Okay.
In most simplistic terms, essentially, yeah.
So we're gonna figure out who's in this, or are you gonna make the fans wait? Because I'm dying.
No, we'll reveal it for you guys. And so the process has kind of changed a bit, because at first we kind of started with a tournament style, and we were talking about qualifying matches and everything like that, but it came down to a point where we need to have this ladder match and crown the champion. And so we had a committee put together, and we kind of put an evaluation process of who has been the top performing talent at Zelo based on win-loss record, contributions to the company, and kind of where the status has been over the last year or so, and then kind of put that in a pot, and we're able to decipher what our viable contenders are right now. And that's obviously could change between now and then. And to your point, ladder matches could be just about anybody involved, but the 6 contenders that we have announced for this match are going to be Mason Conrad, first and foremost. He has been on an incredible winning streak over the last year or so, and we really saw him come into his own with his match against Gary J back in the fall. He was part of that 6-man tag match with Aiden English and the Blackheart Battalion and CJ Esparza. So he has been certainly a top contender for us over the last year or so. So he earned a spot in that match. And then we have Bryce Benjamin, who actually won a qualifying match against Mojo McQueen back in October. So that is still remaining valid and automatically qualified him for this match as well. You have CJ Esparza, who has been undefeated since going on his singles run after Zero Gravity. He's had some incredible matches against JJ Garrett and Triple Threat last year, and again was part of that 6-man tag back in October with those guys. And being able to see what CJ Esparza can do in a ladder match is something that I'm certainly excited to see, and I know that the fans are going to be excited to see as well, just what he brings to the table with his high flying ability. And being able to take that to a whole nother level is going to be incredible.
Most dope
indeed.
Yeah.
And then we have someone who you guys are going to be interested to, at least whatever your reaction may be, coming back for us for the first time since the pandemic. Academic Standard GPA will be returning to Zelo, and will be in this ladder match.
Bring the science
title.
All right. Well, that's it for this episode. Thanks for it's been fun having Matt and D-Ray on. May 1st, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye. Cool.
What does that put us at 5?
Yeah, I think.
And then last but not least is
maybe that was 4. Was that 4?
Was it
that
4?
was 4. Yeah.
It was 4.
Yeah, we forgot the leader of the Blackheart Battalion.
That's right. Pseudo leader in Brubaker.
Okay.
Will be part of this match as well. Brings another element to the table too, because he's not necessarily your high flyer or someone you necessarily envision in a ladder match, but his feud with Matt Raywald, the Drama King, Aiden English, in the fall was certainly one that put him. And to your point, he's kind of been on this quest of king rivalries, and his quest for being the best. So he brings just another element to the table when it comes to the contention for this title and for this ladder match. And then last but not least, we have the return of Egotistico Fantastico, Robert Ego Anthony. He's leaving Frank the Clown at home. He's coming in his Egotistico Fantastico mask, and someone who certainly has been around the block a time or two, has had his fair share of ladder matches, really brings something interesting to the table in terms of his competition here, because experience is certainly on his side, and he's won his fair share of ladder matches. I think the first time I saw Ego wrestle was probably in late 2000s at PCW in a ladder match, and the man knows his way around a ring with ladders in it. That's for sure.
All right. I think what's cool is that there isn't like, if I put my smart fedora on for a second, it feels like anyone can kind of win. There's no like, oh, this person's definitely gonna win the title or things like that. So it doesn't seem this match. You guys did a good job of not making it like predictable. I think from a fan standpoint, it looks really. CJ Esparza is the glue here. I think, because he's gonna have those moments that are going to. He's gonna fall down and we're gonna stand up. Basically, like, it's going to be the moment with the ladder and jumping off, and there's a balcony. That's all I'm saying. There's just a balcony. That's all I'm saying.
The environment, man.
Yeah, the environment, exactly. So you need him for that. Brubaker's Brubaker and GPA are your schemers. I don't know if their schemes are going to run into each other, but they're your opportunists, I think, especially GPA. So like you said, all it takes is timing. GPA knows how to pick his spot, unfortunately. So yeah, I feel like you can point to any person and kind of make a case. So. Well done, guys. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, we're certainly excited about it. And to your point, all of these guys have made quite an impact on Zelo, and they've earned the opportunities to be in this match and contend for being truly the first ever Zelo Pro champion.
Cool. Yeah. I don't even have an early prediction for that, Chris. What do you think? Early prediction?
Yeah, I don't know. So before you started mentioning all those 6 names in the agenda, I started typing out who I think was going to be in the match.
Okay. How does that compare?
I had GPA, I had the Filth King, I had Bryce, I had Mason Conrad. I did have the Drama King in there.
Right on. And it's a like I said, anything can happen between now and then. I think that's probably a fair, someone who, based on kind of how things have gone, would have gone in it. But he's also doing kind of his own thing out. I don't know if he's doing much wrestling, into 2021 yet. Those are still conversations that need to be had.
Yeah, and the one that was a surprise to me, but it was a pleasant surprise, was definitely the most dope. Like Charlie said, as that's going to be the glue. Like that makes the ladder match give it more of that. Like it feels like stuff. Yeah, it gives it that feeling where it's like, yep, he had to be in a ladder match. So, like I mean, I think I can't really predict, because it's also a fresh new title. Who, there's nothing to base it off. There's no baseline. So whoever takes this title is gonna set the bar, right? And the women on the women's side, the bar had been set, and Laynie's been upping that bar every single time. Now with this Zelo championship, which is not a gender exclusive belt,
right?
Whoever is the first title holder is gonna kind of have to give us an interview, because Kylie gave us an interview when she first got the title.
Sure did, right?
That's true. Yes. Yeah. I think you just threw the Smarks for a loop. Suck it, Smarks. There's no baseline. You can't be like, this person's not good enough to hold the Zelo Pro championship. It's because no one's held it yet. So that's a great point that you bring up, Chris. So yeah, that's the coolest part about that match. All right. I gotta lie, I'm more excited. I was excited for the show. Now I'm more excited. I hope that you, the listener,
are you excited enough to take the drive to Milwaukee?
Am I excited enough to take the drive to Milwaukee? Well,
hey, what happened last time in Milwaukee? It was a good time.
It's always a good time. It's always a good time. Oh, the last time, that one time where
the time Chicago drove to Milwaukee, we took that massive picture in the ring with ex-wrestler who had a lot of belts.
You and your crew. You can take a picture of you and your crew. Because it's like our crew, and he's like up there with $20, and then it's like literally like 6 cars worth of people, like 4, realistically like 3 cars worth of people, but full cars came into the ring. That was a memorable time. Yeah. So you can have those memorable times at WrestleFest.
Absolutely. And to that point, we also do have a VIP upgrade experience available that will allow you to get into the building an hour before doors.
Oh, shit.
And which obviously gives you first pick at seats, a chance to meet some of the talent ahead of time. And you also get to take a picture in the ring with the Zelo championship before it's held by anybody.
Oh, damn.
I might have to do that VIP.
I mean, I work from home, Chris, so You know, if we want to go there early, and you know, you can buy all the masks ahead of time, like a Lucha Laynie mask. I don't know if
I think that mask is too fresh. He's not gonna be selling that right away.
No, definitely not.
But you know, I'll put my bid in
for sure.
If you're reserving, yeah. I see your little. Is that a Laynie koozie you have in the corner up there on your shelf?
A Laynie koozie? No. So
it looks like it, doesn't it?
It does actually.
It's a little picture of a Laynie logo that I had done for her way back in the day. She made it into a shirt, and I'm like, she had some. They're not 8x10s. They're smaller, like 4x6s of that Laynie logo. So I'm like, all right, I'll take it. You gotta sign it. I made it, so.
Awesome.
I have it up there.
There you go. That's just, you know, the little things that Chris does, and he, you know, doesn't take any credit for him, and that's why Chris is the best. All right, guys. Well, anything else you guys want to mention before we sign off? But once again, May 1st, it's on Fight TV. If you can make it, make it. But if you can't, then there's really no excuse. So yeah, I mean, this is the chunkiest card I think that Zelo's ever brought you. They're bringing the heat on this one. I think it's kind of cooler that you had like these little compact Sunday shows, which I love that style, by the way, of like, let's get angry, get out. I live in Chicago. This is great. Like, and that, but now you're bringing the fire, you're bringing the heat. So you know, if there's real, like, if this is what Zelo Pro has to offer, find a way to watch it or get there if you can. May 1st.
Listen, if you watch WrestleMania on Peacock, which was extremely fucking hard to get and hard to watch, like, you can, if you can't make it to Milwaukee, you definitely can get access to Fight TV.
It's like 3 clicks. You can, there's like direct links for it. You just click. It's like 3 clicks to watch it, honestly.
Super simple. Absolutely.
Well,
simplicity is key.
I've never really gone through the process, so I don't know. Like, but yeah, I'll take your word. Super easy.
It's not hard.
Yeah, cool.
At least the app, you can get it on your TV.
Exactly. So where do we find in the meantime? Where do we find the Zelo Pro stuff?
So you can go to zelopro.com. That also has links to tickets if they're still available at the time this recording drops, as well as links to the Fight TV. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram at Zelo Pro, and on Twitter at Zelo Wrestling. If you want to watch all the matches that we've ever had for free, they're available on youtube.com/Zelo Pro. And then if you want to stock up on gear in time for WrestleFest, that's at prowrestlingtees.com/Zelo Pro.
Cool.
Another quick sidebar. You mentioned Zelo Pro gear. And so I know they're through Pro Wrestling Tees, but these previous hoodies that you had, they were not done through Pro Tees, were they?
They were not. No, they weren't. They were done through a company. Yeah, I know you guys have them because like they're super comfortable and they have really nice interior.
Yeah.
They were done through a company actually in Milwaukee called Redwall, is where we had gotten those ones that first run from. I think we may still have some inventory left potentially.
Okay, well, let's make sure we hit up that merch table because you know, my hoodie ended up in the washer with a baby blanket and it did not turn out well afterwards.
Bust.
So that's why I've been on a hunt, and I'm like, you know, yeah, Pro Wrestling Tees is the place to be. You can also, you know, get, you know, bunch of talents merch and whatnot. But I'm like, that hoodie was special. It felt good. It was like a nice warm hug.
D-Ray's wearing his right now. I see it.
All right.
Yeah, right. I mean, it really is, like, unless you actually felt it, like, not to mark out about a hoodie, like, it's probably one of the softest interior hoodies I've ever had.
Absolutely.
No, this is good. This is like the opposite. It's like fall is hoodie season, but this is like we're still kind of coming out of it. Like today was a good hoodie day. Get your hoodies in for sure.
Yeah.
While you can. And Chris, yeah, take us home then.
All right. So we'll see you guys on May 1st. If you decide to go, I'll definitely be there. Hopefully I can get Charlie to come with me. You know, Charlie, I will have Modelos in the car if you want to, you know, stop by at some point and have a few. I'll bring markers and we can make signs and, you know, out of your trunk if you want. Whatever it takes.
I don't know if I want to be known as the sign guy. I think that was a one-time thing. You know, if you watch a show like Trevor Outlaw ripped it up, I sent him an invoice for like $3.49. I don't know if he's gonna pay it. I'm not made of money.
What a dare.
You know, we'll play that by ear, Chris.
All right. Well, as far as Two Heels and a Face goes, you can always find us on social media: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Two Heels and a Face, number 2 Heels and a Face. You can visit our website, twoheelsandaface.com, where you can find articles on our episodes, any helpful links, throughout these episodes. Charlie's been doing a great job at getting stuff up on YouTube way before I can even produce an episode.
There's so much sarcasm.
Make sure there's not. There's true guilt of not being able to produce a podcast as fast as I used to. So check us out on YouTube, Two Heels and a Face. You can find us everywhere. Two Heels and a Face, number 2 Heels and a Face. So Charlie, where can they find our podcast episodes, the ones that I delay on?
Yeah, no, you're fine. SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher Radio, Spotify, YouTube, and yeah, when sharing the show, make sure you hashtag Viva La Chico and hashtag Future Zelo Champ along with that, and hopefully it'll come true.
Hashtag WrestleFest. Is there an official hashtag?
It is. Yeah, hashtag WrestleFest will be the official hashtag of the event.
All right,
there you go.
There it is, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks.
Bye.